Hi, Anja here, parenting success coach, helping you feel successful in your parenting. Today's episode, fussy eaters, picky eaters, drives us crazy as parents. I'm going to walk you through ways to manage your expectations, how to come up with some creative solutions, and to just lean back and trust it's okay, they're getting enough food. Let's get into that. So I definitely thought after having my first child that it really was a parenting issue. I just thought that if you give your children food, they just eat it. Parents have a problem that they're making it bigger fuss. They need to offer meal times, nice and relaxed, healthy food. Yes. Well, then life taught me differently and I had a daughter doing exactly the same things as I did with my first child. She was not interested. She wasn't interested in baby food. She wasn't interested in anything but white bread and pasta. Didn't want to sit at the table. Didn't want to follow any of our structure that we had very little, but we tried to put some in. And it really showed me that how individual our children are, that it really wasn't a one size fit all. Food did not interest her. Didn't have the same feel. You know, she was the baby that would turn her head, or just as you try to get something in there, she'd just spit it out or throw it off her high chair. It was new to me. I hadn't experienced that before. Even as a nanny, I hadn't experienced somebody quite so strong-willed. So yes, fussy eaters. If we have one of those in our home, let's work on a few things here so that we can keep still. She's a great eater now, let me tell you. That meal times still come from a place of a family time, of being together. Right? It is so important to sit down and have family meals. I understand how hard that can be. Everybody on a different schedule. I also realize that sometimes one member or both of you work late and you're coming home late and starting dinner there. And it's kind of late for the children because then they go to bed. So you're forever trying to juggle the schedule. So let's talk control. That's a big one here with our food. And we cannot make somebody eat something. So that's a big weight that our children carry. And so we have to decide the big term, long-term goal. Do we want sitting at the table and enjoying meals together to be a happy thing, an okay thing, a normal thing? Or do we want to come with all this pressure, all these rules, all these expectations that they can't reach or not interested in reaching? So when we look at those goals, when we look at about the idea of control, right? As parents, we want to control our little people. We want to help them. But they have their own right and their own tastes and their own sensitivities and their likes and their dislikes. And the more we're in there, the more they're going to be able to use those. And the more frustrated we're going to get. Okay, so let's lean back. Lean back. We've got our creative solutions. We're going to work on our expectations. We cannot control another. We can't control very much, right? It's an illusion. So we have to look at ourselves based on how we get sort of uptight around eating and picky eaters. So let's look at our expectations. Okay, are we being realistic on what our expectations are for our children to come to the table to sit and eat with us? Are they over hungry? Are they thirsty? Are they tired? And then we're expecting them to sit there with us nicely. So many things that we can do. First, it really is the needs of the children. Like I know for myself, if I'm hungry, if I'm thirsty, if I'm tired, I'm not feeling very patient. I don't really want to hear what you have to say, right? So it's going to be the same for our little people. So when they eat, yes, have them sit at the table. Yes, please sit with them. No phones, and just sit and have a conversation or have your snack. Maybe you're on different mealtime plans. That's okay. But look at our expectations and are we being realistic? Is it realistic for a 2-year-old to have to sit there when they're tired and sort of in their PJs, just so that you can kind of force a family time dinner on them? Could they perhaps have eaten beforehand and then come to the table still, but have, be able to color? So they're in on the conversation of you and your partner. The manners and teaching them using cutlery, that all comes, right? But by example, by demonstration. Maybe at dinner time, if it's late, they've already had throughout the day all the nutrition they need, so they could sit there and have cereal or yogurt or some fruit. So we have a big worry and a big fear when our children are fussy. I certainly did. in terms of, are they getting enough nutrients? They're not going to grow. They need this, they need this. Again, we have to chill. We have to relax a little bit about this. You do you. You do the meals. You do the sitting down and eating nicely. They're behaving nicely, come and have a seat. If you've finished eating, you're welcome to get down and to leave. And I think we can put way too much stress and pressure, and the kids feel that, so they're going to rebel a little about that, especially if we're talking dinner time. I know now for a fact, and trust me, I fed my daughter under the table many a time, which would have horrified me as a British nanny. But as a parent, I really wanted her to have that oatmeal. I really wanted her to have whatever the food was. So I did do that. Yes, no. And now, you know what? We can all sit at the table and eat nicely. We know how to use knife and fork, use napkins. We're all very polite. We can go to restaurants and there's a lot of respect around our food there too. There's not chaos and food fights and flying food, right? We've got our expectations. Let's lean back a little bit. Let's not be so in there. And the more we're in there saying, oh, you must eat, you must eat, must eat, that pressure changes everything. The little kids, their appetite changes as they grow, as they teeth, as they start solid food, if something else is going on in their life. You know, there's so many variables. It's tough. So just, chill out a little bit. It's okay. Perhaps throughout the day, having a little bowl of something nutritious beside them when they play is the best way for them to eat at that time. Still set the table. Still sit down and have your family meals. They'll join in. I know that for a fact. They do join in. They want to be part of what we're doing. It doesn't always have to be necessarily eating because we're eating. Thanks so much for watching. If you like the content, please make sure to subscribe. And if you want to find out more about me, my one-on-one coaching, my courses, my workshops, the links are in the description. Take care.